Hiya everyone, I'm Jamie and this is a Fall Guys rounds tier list, including Season 4. Now, I have wanted to make this video since Season 4 came out, but I thought I should hold back, play all the rounds, test them out, see what I think of them, and then I will make the tier list. And I feel that because I hit level 50 in Season 4 yesterday, now would be the time to make this video. Okay, so without further intro, let's start ranking games. First is Big Fans, and I think I'm gonna put this in B. Now, I like Big Fans, or Only Fans as I like to call it. I think it's a good, solid race. You go through, it's very simple. If you know what you're doing, you're probably gonna get a silver medal or even a gold. And I think it's just, the worst thing about it is if you finish early, there's just a lot to wait, because a lot of people just haven't got this level down, so if you finish early, you're going to be doing a lot of waiting until the round actually ends. Next we have Block Party, and I think I'm going to put Block Party in D. I'm kind of just riffing this, like I have a vague idea of where I want to put things, but I'm mostly just riffing it. I just think Block Party is just boring. It's just boring. Like, the most difference that you're going to have in this round is what kind of nonsense is going to happen to you. Like, if the game works exactly as it is intended, you will stand in the middle, you'll move to a gap, you'll go back to the middle, you move to a gap, you'll go back to the middle, or the gap's over this side this time, or you got to jump. And the most interesting and different thing that will happen to you is if you, I don't know, get jelly legs and get flung off the back. That is all that's going to happen that is in any way interesting. If the game works as intended, it's just boring. You're probably going to get through. You know, it's just... Ugh. Moving swiftly on, we have Hoarders. Now, I'm going to put Hoarders in E. Now, while people might think that is generous, I have plans for F tier, don't worry. But like, Hoarders is bad, don't get me wrong. It's bad. Like, to be fair to it, it's not as bad as a lot of people say it is, but it is still very, very bad. It's mostly just whoever has the least amount of balls, like whoever has the least amount of balls in their area, the other two teams are just going to guard the barrier to that one. So if you're red and yellow is losing, you're going to guard like the barrier between red and yellow, and blue will do the same to yellow, so they can't get anything and then they're out. It's just like based on what happens in that first 10 seconds of the game, kind of. It's a bit different if, say, red get all 7 balls, because most likely what's going to happen then is red will be punished for being too good, because everybody will be in their area stealing their balls, and they'll probably go out. I don't know, it's just... Yeah, I've never had a fun game of Hoarders. It's never happened. Okay, next is Fruit Shoot, and this might actually surprise people, but you know, I'm just gonna this is gonna blow some people's minds. But I'm gonna put Fruit Shoot in C. I'm gonna do it because I've recently found a strat in Fruit Shoot that actually makes it appealing to me. Basically, what I think happened is Fruit Shoot has gotten a lot better since they implemented big eatuses in almost like every time you'll get Fruit Shoot. There'll be big eatuses at the start. I feel like it's improved it a lot. Like, a lot of people go for the big eatuses, and that clears up the sides, and then you can actually avoid the fruit without having to, you know, deal with 70 people's hitboxes around you, because they're all at the bottom trying to get the big eaters, or they've got it and they're ahead of you. I don't know, big eaters has just changed that game a lot for the better. I've also recently found a strat where if you jump and then run a little bit, and then jump and then run a little bit, you can actually go up the treadmill a bit quicker than everybody who's just running along, and I feel like that it adds another level to Fruit Shoot. Like, it adds a little bit of a skill cap to it, because I feel like I'm outplaying all the people that are just running because I'm running and jumping, so it actually adds a little bit of a skill cap to Fruit Shoot. It's not just how much can you press your analog stick forward and pray that no fruit hits you. It's changed a lot, I think, for the better. Tiptoe, I'm sticking in D. I want to put it above Block Party, though, so come on. Yeah, there we go. I want to put it above Block Party, but still in D tier. Mostly for a very similar crime of just being really boring. Because, yeah, there is the strat where, while you're on Tiptoe, you can, like, look at the tiles at the end and check which ones are wobbling to try and decide which is the correct path. But most of the time, what happens is you're just on one tile, everyone's nudging forward, everyone's trying to get somebody to test the next tile, and nobody wants to do it, nobody wants to be the one to fall into the pit, and then it'll get to the end bit, you might have figured out which one it is, but you still have to get past the big mass of people just tiptoeing. I guess that is the name of the game. But, and that basically leads to, even if you know which one is the correct path, you can't get to it because people are in the way. And then once the correct path is revealed, it becomes everybody charges and everybody's pushing, and you just have to pray that your hitbox is stronger than everybody else's and they don't ping you off into the ether and you can actually qualify. I don't know, it's just boring most of the time. And when it gets exciting, it gets frustrating. And that's all I can say about Tiptoe, really. So next, we've got good old Dizzy Heights. Good old classic A-tier Dizzy Heights. Yep, it's just good. I just love Dizzy Heights. It is just one of those near-perfect gauntlets. It's just a race. There are obstacles. They're all manageable. Nothing can go drastically wrong, really, if you know what you're doing. It's just one of those where if you know what you're doing, you're pretty much guaranteed a silver medal. And I think that's well designed, because if you know what you're doing and you achieve what you're trying to do, then you should do well. It's got a decent skill cap, I think, Dizzy Heights, and that's just why I love it. It's just a fun, fair level, I think. Egg Scramble, I'm sticking in E, because I did used to like Egg Scramble, but I don't know, it's every time I see it, I'm just kind of like, this is going to be, you know, one of two ways. We're either going to get through very easily and everything's going to be fine, or the other two teams will pick on us and that will be it. I don't know what has changed about my view on Egg Scramble, because it's always been like that, but I just don't like it anymore. And Egg Siege, I'm going to stick in at the top of D. That seems fair, because Egg Siege is kind of just Egg Scramble, but better. Like, the pick up and throw strat is just a lot more viable on Egg Siege. The baskets, like the deeper baskets, are a lot more easy to defend, because you can stand at the top, you can wait until they throw stuff out to get them back in. Like, it's still got most of the problems of Egg Scramble. Like, you can still get very easily bullied if the other two teams decide that you're the one that's going to be eliminated. But ultimately, it's just Egg Scramble, but better. So just stick it one tier up. I still love Full Ball. I don't care what people say about Full Ball. It's still great. I see so many tier lists where people just hate on Full Ball. Like, it's in its own little tier at the very bottom. And I don't understand. Full Ball is so fun. Like, I know it's all opinion. It's all subjective. But I've just never had a game of Full Ball that I've not had fun in. Like, I'm sorry for all the double negatives, but I always have fun in Full Ball. If I'm 10-0 down, I'm having fun. 10-0 up, having fun. Close game, I'm having fun. I just always have fun in Full Ball. I think it's such a fun game, and it will always be in my S tier. You know, unless they do something horrendous and break it. What do I do about Full Mountain? Where do I put this level? I don't know. I don't like it. I never feel like I have a lot of agency in Full Mountain. I feel like it's completely up to the game whether it hits me with a ball, or I get that weird start at the beginning where the ball rolls down to the spinny door thing and it doesn't spin it. So then what do I do then? Yeah, I just never feel like I'm in charge of my own destiny in Full Mountain. That sounds so pretentious, but I never feel like I have agency. I feel like it's just total luck. As like I take what I have found to be the safest route. Sometimes a ball hits me, sometimes it doesn't, and I hate that the crown at the top goes up and down. That is one of the worst design decisions I think I've ever seen in a finale. Because it seems like when the player in first place gets to the crown, it's always going up. Like, that just seems to be always the case, that when the first person gets to the crown, if they have a clean run, it will be going up again, which gives other players time to catch up. And I don't think that's fair, because the person in front is in front. They're first. They should get the crown. They made it up the hill fastest. Why that crown moves up and down, I will never know. Okay, so next we've got Freezy Peak, and I think I'm going to put that in the top of B, and I think it'll stay as the highest in B, because I was very close to putting it in A, because it is a really fun round. The only thing that made me put it in B as opposed to A is the starting positions. Because if you get a certain starting position over another, then you're almost guaranteed to get to the bit where you go up on the fans to the higher bit. much quicker than anybody else that spawned on the other starting position. Like, there are starting positions where the fists go like that, and starting positions where the fists go like that, and the ones where the fist goes like that, I think, are the better ones to get. Mostly because they're easier to avoid, and also because on the ones with the fists that go like that, you don't have the flippers. And there is a problem with the flippers where, with desync and everything like that, you can be, say, here, and the flipper's here, and it just goes burp, and you go back, because on your screen you aren't on the flipper, but server side you are, but you've got no way of knowing that. So I prefer to be on the start without the flipper, because you actually know what's happening. So I think the start where you get the fists that go up is vastly superior, and the fact that that's completely random, and some people get the bad start, some people get the good start, I don't think is great. The rest of the round, though, is really fun. Like, I love the corridor with the flippers and the fists and this big snowball. I think that's insanely fun. Like, all the different, like, strats you can use to get to the top. Go flying up to the finish line. It's all great, apart from the fact that you can get a different start to other people. So Gate Crash, I think, is a solid C tier. I think it's just a fairly average, straight down the middle kind of level. Like, if you watch which gates are going up and down, and you jump at the right times, and you know what you're doing, you will get through this level. There's very little that can go wrong if you're paying attention. If you don't know what you're doing, or you're not paying attention, you're probably going to go out. If you know what you're doing and you pay attention, you're going to go through. There's not much to it, really. Yay, Four Ball's going to have a friend. There we go. Hexagon is S tier. Very few levels have as much depth and strategy and mind game potential as Hexagon. Like, you can, like, look down on the next level and look who to cut off, like, jump down onto them. You look on the level you're on to, like, cut people off. You can run, you can jump slowly, you can, like, if you're about to go down a level, you can look who's got the most, like, left on the level you're about to fall off, go to where, just below them, and get rid of all the tiles beneath them, so they have nothing to jump down onto. If they're paying attention, they can jump down and try and disrupt what you're doing. And oh my god, there's just so much that can go on in Hexagon. It's so fun. There are a few little annoying bugs, like the jelly legs bug, where you just, like, jelly legs on a tile and fall down like seven levels, which they say they fixed, but they say that every patch and it's never fixed. There is the strange bug where you get rid of some tiles, but then somebody just jumps on the tiles you've just gotten rid of, even though they're not there. And then there's the one where you can just straight fall through a level, even though it's right there. The exact opposite of the invisible hex bug. But all in all, like, they're just bugs. I think all in all, like, Hexagon just has so much depth and so much strategy, and it's so fun, and I love it, and it's S tier. I don't know what that was, but yeah. Hit Parade is just too short. It's too short. There's not enough space to, like, get any kind of a lead on other people. So most of the time, like, 90% of the field are just crammed into whatever obstacle they're dealing with, or trying to deal with, because it is very impossible to deal with an obstacle when 59 or like 44 other people are there as well. It's very difficult to contend with. It's such a simple level. It would be fun if, I don't know, if it was just longer. Just, like, add some other obstacles. Make Hit Parade longer. It's outdated, really. It's a game designed for, you know, when Fall Guys first came out. It's not really, it's not viable anymore. Hoopsy Legends! Yes, Dizzy Heights is getting a friend. I love Hoopsy Legends. Honestly, I'm struggling to find legitimate reasons for why I love Hoopsy Legends so much. I honestly think I just enjoy flying through rings. I'm that easily entertained. That's kind of depressing. But I also do think it's fun to, like, see a ring spawn and trying to find the quickest way to it, to beat other people. Like, when you win Hoopsy Legends, you feel like you played well. And that's a feeling I really like. Now, Hoopsy Daisy, I'm gonna put in B. I know it's essentially the same thing, but in a team element. But there is one thing they've done to Hoopsy Daisy that really ruins the fun factor for me. And that thing they've done is the fan variation. I do not like the fan variation at all. I just don't find it as fun as the turntable variation. And I don't know why they did it. Because, I don't know, I guess they did it because some people do like the fan variation. and I guess I'm not the only person who plays this game. But like, I love the turntable variation. It's perfect, and every time I get the fan variation, I'm just like, because I love Hoopsy Daisy so much. If it didn't have the fan variation, I think I'd put it in S tier, or at least A tier. But the fan variation just drops it down to B. Jinxed is still a coin flip. I don't care what people say about it, that it's got strategy, and if you're good at it, you can like avoid being jinxed for ages. You know, it's true, but ultimately, like, not much you do has much impact in Jinxed, because it's a 50-50 team game. Not only that, it's a 50-50 team game where the more that one side gets jinxed, the more chances there are to jinx the other side. So most of the time what happens is you see the two scores go down at exactly the same rate, like give or take like 1 or 2 points. So it'll go like 15, 15, 14, 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 11, 13, 12, 11, 10. And like that's all that ever happens in Jinxed. You might have like 1 or 2 players that are really good at avoiding being jinxed, but ultimately they're not going to be able to do much when like 38 people, no, it's not going to be 38, is it? When like 21 people are chasing them, you can only avoid that for so long. Yeah, it just feels like you can never do much on your own in Jinxed. It's better than some games, therefore it's not in F tier, but it just feels like there's not much you can do. It's just a coin flip. I'm going to put Jump Club in B, purely because, wait, not higher than Freezy Peak, purely because it's just too easy. Like, there's not much that can go wrong in Jump Club, and all that ever really goes wrong is either somebody kills you, which is just something you should have avoided if you were paying attention, or you die because you weren't paying attention. Actually, no, that's just the same thing, isn't it? The only thing that can go wrong in Jump Club is you're not paying attention. If you're paying attention, you're gonna go through. It's not as boring as Gate Crash, because, I don't know, I just like the arm spinning thing. I just think it's fun. But ultimately, if you're paying attention, you're not going to go out. I've got to put Jump Showdown in S. I've got to do it. It's like, it's so hard doing tier lists, because like everything you do sounds like hypocrisy or a contradiction or something. Like, how could you put Jump Club in B but Jump Showdown in S? They're essentially the same thing. It's like, but they're not. They're not. Mainly because Jump Showdown is a finale. Like, even if Jump Club was completely the same, but placed in a finale setting where it's like last person standing, then that suddenly makes it more interesting. And not only that, but in Jump Showdown you have 2 arms at the bottom, you can potentially have a fan, the platforms drop out, and it has the excitement of being a finale. I don't know, Jump Showdown is just so fun to me. It may be a tiny bit of bias, because Jump Showdown is the finale I feel I'm best at. I think I've won Jump Showdown more than I've won every other finale. It's hard to make sure, because I do have a Fall Guys tracker that counts how many times you've won like the rounds, the finale, stuff like that. But Hexagon Trials kind of messed up my tracker, because it now thinks I've won Hexagon 47 times, which is not true. So it's kind of hard to tell how many like which finale I've won most. But I personally think it's Jump Showdown. I feel like I've won Jump Showdown a lot at this point. But yeah, I just love Jump Showdown. I find it thrilling. Like, when I've finished a really intense Jump Showdown, I've got the crown and I'm shaking and my heart's racing. I just don't know. It feels so good. It feels so good to play a Jump Showdown. Like, most of the time, even when you go out in Jump Showdown, it's because you made a mistake. Like, even when it feels like you've gone out because, you know, there was no other choice, like the bars were like that coming at you, most of the time they're coming like that at you because you should have gone forward instead of backwards. If you'd have, like, moved around towards the pole and then jumped over it, you would have been fine. They're coming at you like that because you made a mistake. And even when I get annoyed in the moment, I know that. I know it's because I've made a mistake. I only ever feel like I've lost Jump Showdown because I made a mistake. Even if that mistake is getting too close to a known killer. I always feel like it's my own fault if I lose Jump Showdown. I don't know, that just feels good to me. I hate going out of a game because if I feel like the game has killed me. And I never really feel that in Jump Showdown. Night Fever, Night Fever. Don't sing, you can't sing, you're tone deaf. Night Fever's in S tier, let's move on. I love me some Night Fever. I love me some Night Fever. It is one of the best designed gauntlets in this game, if not the best designed gauntlet. I'm really not sure. It just feels so good. If you know what you're doing, like, I've said this a lot, but if you know what you're doing, you can get a silver or a gold pretty easily in Night Fever. And I think that is a sign of a great designed level. Okay, take everything that I just said about Night Fever and apply it to Tundrun. Because Tundrun is Night Fever in snow. That is essentially what it is, so I'm not going to repeat myself again. I feel like everything I said about Night Fever can apply to Tundrun. Moving on. Perfect Match is boring as hell, and I'm sticking it at the bottom of E tier. Because I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. I don't want to just stare at pictures of fruit and remember where they are. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it belongs in this game. It always just feels like I'm playing a different game when I'm playing Perfect Match. And it's a game I don't want to be playing. When it comes up with the type of game that you're playing and in a little word above the title or somewhere, I can't remember where it is, but it says that Perfect Match is a logic game. It's the only one in the game. It's in a category entirely of its own, and it shows. It does not feel like it belongs in this game. And oftentimes, I'll follow the crowd, or if I'm playing with friends, I'll let them do the memorizing. It's a game I don't want to play. It's not a platformer. It's not... It doesn't feel at home in Fall Guys. It just doesn't feel at home in the game that it's in. Becky, I'm moving Perfect Match down to F tier. Penguin Pursuit, I feel like, is one of the team games that is good. I'm sticking it in B tier. I feel like Penguin Pursuit is one of the games that has benefited from the change where if somebody's grabbing you, you can just drop what you're holding and pick it up afterwards. Because I feel like that adds an element to Penguin Pursuit that it kind of needed. I don't think it works entirely as intended because sometimes somebody can grab you and the penguin goes flying up even before you've had any chance to counter it. But I feel like even if somebody grabs you and you drop it, they can also stop grabbing you and start like fighting for the penguin again. I don't know, it just feels like that has added something to Penguin Pursuit, because before, if somebody grabbed you while you were holding the penguin, it was going flying and there was nothing you could do about it. All you had to do was constantly jump, and that felt kind of frustrating, both for you and for the person chasing, because there was nothing they could do about it. Also, I like the team elements in Penguin Pursuit. Like, it always feels good when you have a good team in Penguin Pursuit. You get the penguin, you hold it in a corner with like your entire team surrounding you, and that feels really good. Like, I love the team elements of Penguin Pursuit so much. The strategy is great. You can either go for a penguin, or you can try and mess up the other team. It just feels like there's a lot of depth to Penguin, and that's what I really like about it. But there also are a lot of annoyances and a lot of problems, and bad teammates can really mess it up for you, so that's why I've only stuck it in B tier. Rock and Roll, I'm sticking in C tier, because honestly, it's kind of boring, and it doesn't really offer that much of a challenge. Even if you could say, oh, it's really hard if you've got a bad team, but no, it's not really hard if you've got a bad team. If you've got a bad team, you're not getting through. There's no element of challenge there. If you've got a bad team, you're not getting through. If you've got a good team, you're getting through. There's not much you can do, really. You can try and stop the other person's ball, but ultimately, like, once it comes down to 2 teams left and they're both trying to stop the other person's ball, I don't think it's a case of like who's the better team at that point. It's just a case of who gets bored first and just gives up. Because if you play it well, you can keep the other team's ball there forever. So if it's 2 good teams, then they're going to keep the ball there forever. I don't know. It's just it's just average. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just I love me some roll off. I'm putting way too many games in S tier though. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's just a sign that, you know, they've made a lot of good rounds recently, and roll-off is one of them. I really enjoy me some roll-off. I think it was the perfect idea to make, like, rollout into a finale. I think that was a really good idea, because it's almost what it should be. And I love that it descends into the slime as well, so it gets, like, slightly harder as it goes on. Like, you have to be lightning fast reactions, and every time I've lost rollout, it's like Jump Showdown. Every time I've lost roll off, I think it was my own mistake. It was my own mistake that I made, that I shouldn't have made. And if I play roll off perfectly, I win. I think that's just a perfect finale. You play it well, you win. You make a mistake, you lose. I think that's perfect. Roll out, however, I am going to stick at the top of C tier, if it will let me. There we go. Because I think it's just ultimately, if you play it safe, you're gonna survive. If you don't play it safe, there's a 50-50 chance you'll die. That's basically what rollout is. If you go out of your way to kill people, that's more fun, but there's a good chance that you're going to die from it. If you play it safe and just keep out of trouble and just survive, then you're going to get through. And it's just a kind of a nothing level. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just fine. I'm actually going to move rock and roll down. I've changed my mind. There we go. Royal Fumble. Where do I put you? I think I want to put you there. There we go. Royal Fumble is the bottom of E tier. Mostly because of an issue that I will go on to when I talk about another level. You know which one it is because you know it's Royal Fumble. What other level am I going to be talking about that's similar to that? But none of the first minute and 10 seconds matter. All that matters is the last 10 seconds. You can spend 90% of this finale doing the glitch emote in the back corner, not paying attention to anything, and I think that's a poorly designed finale where most of it doesn't matter. You can hold the tail for 1 minute and 29 seconds, or however long Royal Fumble is, and somebody can nick it in the last second and win. And I think that's absolute nonsense, and the whole tail format needs changing, but yeah, that's for another time. Seesaw. It's two different games, Seesaw. If you're at the front, it's a chill walk in the park. If you're at the back, it's a literal hellscape. I'm going to put it there. There we go. Bottom of C tier. If you're at the front, it's just a casual jump along some seesaws. If you're at the back, you're picking up your monitor and throwing it out the window because it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So, actually no, because it's never really fun. It's just either easy or not, or just balls to the wall frustrating. So I'm going to stick it in D, close to rock and roll. They're basically the same game. I mean, they're not, but you know, they're the same as in they're either frustrating or easy. Skiffle, I once thought I would hate until it got to the point when I figured out the strat of running down the side and jumping in the middle. And then it became really fun, and I like Skiffle. I just feel like Skiffle is one of those ones that has a decent skill cap, where if you know what you're doing, if you know you have to go down the side, decide where the ball is, jump into the wind, and go into the middle 5-pointer at the very end, then you're going to qualify 99.9% of times. And if you don't know that that's what you've got to do, then you could still qualify. You could still jump through enough of the circles on the circles as you go down, but ultimately you probably don't stand as much of a chance to qualify as the people who go down the side. And I like that that's a skill cap. If you know what you're doing, you're going to go through. I don't know. Have you got this sense that I like it when levels reward you for knowing what you're doing? Speaking of, there we go. Slime Climb is in S tier, and I've just looked at my Streamlabs, and now S tier is casually going off the screen. So let's hope I don't have any more in S tier, eh? Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I made it slightly smaller. Yeah, so Slime Climb, I just find it really fun. It used to be really hard until I figured out what I was doing, and now I find it challenging but fun. It's still hard, don't get me wrong, Slime Climb is still hard, but it's fun now I know what I'm doing. And it's another one, I'm repeating myself, but it's another one with a great skill cap. If you know what you're doing, you're probably going to get through, or you have a good chance to get through. If you don't know what you're doing, your ass is going in slime. And I think that's good. It's a level that you have to learn to win, learn to get through. And I just think that's really fun. I also think it's just a fun level. All of its obstacles just are enjoyable to get through. And I love me some Slime Climb. Snowy Scrap can be really fun if you are on comms with friends and you can coordinate how you're going to strategize. Like, you can tell people, okay, push it that way, push it to the left, push it to the right, we're going into that fist, where, like, that kind of thing. If you're solo queue, it can be very frustrating. Like, say, if you have a bad team or something like that. It's either really fun or really not fun. I think I'm going to stick it in C tier. Just stick it right down the middle, because it can either be the most frustrating clusterfuck you ever like gone against in your life, if somebody's standing in front of your ball and you can't get it past them. Or it can be, like, if you have a good team and you're coordinated well, it can be fun. I'm just going to stick it in C tier. It's fully average. How have I done that? Okay, funny thing, I was trying to create a new tier for tail tag because I hate it. But then I realised that it can't be on its own tier because there's another level that's just as bad as it. But then I deleted the tier, but it seems to have deleted the tail tag picture as well. So I have deleted tail tag from the game. I've done what I want doing. Tail tag is no longer here. It's not got a picture. It's not in any of the other tiers. I created another tier again, and it wasn't even there. So tail tag's gone. Tail tag will be in the bottom tier, but right now it's gone. But yeah, so tail tag is abysmal because almost none of the game matters. You can keep a tail for 1 minute 29 seconds and then lose it and then you're out. And yeah, you could say that if you're good enough, you won't lose your tail right at the last second. But just the fact that that is a part of the game's design means it's just an abysmal level. Why would a game exist where you can be winning for 1 minute and 29 seconds, but then because you lose your tail in the last second, you're out? Feck you. It really needs to be changed to be like how long you have the tail in the match. And then it might actually be a half decent round. And of course, but there are of course all the issues of desync and lag and stuff like that make it like even bad even with that change. But that change would go a long way to making it not abysmal and not to the stage where I've deleted it and I really couldn't care less because, you know, it's better without its ugly picture. I'm just happy that I don't have to read the word tail tag. So that's something. DoorDash. This is just a game where you stand back and wait to see which door is the right one and then go through it. And if you make one mistake, you're dead. Even if you don't make a mistake, even if you just get beaten around by people's hitboxes, you're out. I'm sticking at the top of E tier. It's really bad. It's just really bad. Thin Ice, I'm going to put at the top of E tier. Thin Ice is actually going to take DoorDash's place. Well done, DoorDash. You held the top of E tier for about 10 seconds. But yeah, Thin Ice, I don't like it. I don't feel like there's anything I can do when I play Thin Ice to win it. I don't feel like I've ever played well in Thin Ice. I don't even know how to play well. I can't figure it out. Like, I have been told on stream that there are strategies on Thin Ice, like if you jump on a hex a lot of times, then you can make it last longer than if you're just walking around or standing there. But at the same time, I don't really know how that helps. Like, yeah, if you have a big island to yourself, that's good for conserving the ice so that you can stay on there for as long as possible. But you can never cut anyone off. Like, say on Hexagon, if you want a big chunk for yourself, it's relatively easy to cut that off. Like, if you see where players are, you can cut them off and save a big chunk for yourself. But on Thin Ice, it takes so long to break the ice, to cut people off, that by the time you've done it, everyone's realised what you've done, and you haven't achieved cutting them off because they've seen what you've done. And they're either on your big chunk, or your chunk wasn't big enough and no one cares. But you can't do anything quick enough for it to be a strategy. I just haven't had anyone tell me a legitimate strategy that you can use that not many people know about that create a skill cap for Thin Ice. I think it's mostly just luck. If after all the running about and people have just run about breaking all the ice, if you're left in the vicinity of a pretty big chunk that no one else is near, you're probably gonna win. And that's just chance. You can try and position yourself close to those big chunks of ice if you want, but I've tried that countless times and it never seems to work. There's always somebody there, because it's so small as well. It's just small playing area. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about Thin Ice now because it's making me mad. Team Tail Tag. Team Tail Tag has a lot of the problems of Tail Tag, but I don't know, I just find it more fun. So I'm going to stick it just like above Royal Fumble, so right at the bottom of D tier. So Tail Tag has all the same problems, and I'd add in the problems of team games, but for some reason I just feel like I have more control over the outcome of the game in Team Tail Tag. So like if I have a tail and I've noticed that my team are losing, I will go and find one of my teammates and give them my tail, and then hope they keep it, and I'll go and get another one, give that to another team member, and like if you're good enough at stealing tails in Team Tail Tag, I feel like you can actually help your team. Obviously you can't help them keep their tails, but you can try and make sure that some of your teammates get a tail. I don't know, I just like that strategy. I also like the strategy that you can, like, say not have a tail. If a lot of your team have a tail, you can actively just not try to get one, but instead try and defend your teammates. I feel like there's a lot more to Team Tail Tag than a lot of people give it credit for. It's not one of my favourite games, I barely like it, but I just feel like I'm having to justify why I've put it in D tier and not like E or F. Okay, so Wall Guys, I like it a lot more than I used to. I have a lot more fun in Wall Guys than I used to when it came out. Like, when it came out, I had absolutely no fun at all, and it would be a lot lower than it is now. But as is, I'm going to put it at the bottom of E tier. And that says a lot, I hope, about how much I hated War Guys on release. This is War Guys much improved in my estimations. I still don't like it, but I have more fun than I used to. I think a thing that helped me have a little bit more fun on War Guys is just stopping the dive grabs altogether. It helps that now they've made it so dive grabs just don't work at all, so you know there's absolutely no point going for them. But before, it was they'd work, say, 50% of the time, and sometimes it would be that 50-50 would be the difference between winning and losing. Now you know that you are absolutely never going to achieve a dive grab, ever. And I think it's helped a bit more to make it a bit more enjoyable to know that that's just not an option anymore. So you just have to find the right path through it quicker. I'm stopping talking about War Guys, I'm sick of it. It's a rubbish game, but I like it slightly more than I used to. Yes, the whirligig, something good. Talk about a game I actually like. God, it feels like forever that I've put a game high. Yeah, I really enjoy the whirligig. I'm just gonna say, like, the default thing that I seem to say for a lot of the games that I like: if you know what you're doing, chances are you're going to get through, and get through well. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have a bad time. And I just think that's good. It's got a good skill cap, it's fun, the obstacles are fun to get around, it's fun to just run through the map, it's brightly coloured, I don't know. I like whirligig. Snowball Survival. Now this is this has taken years off my life already. It's so stressful. I'm going to put it, like, second place in B tier. Nothing's taking Freezy Peak in B tier. Freezy Peak is going to keep the top of B tier, but Snowball Survival is just behind it. Yeah, I feel like this game has taken many years off my life. It's so stressful. I always feel like I'm an inch from death when I play it. Even when I'm in a safe space, I feel like I'm an inch from death. The, like, ice rim around the edge is... I thought it was bad design at first, but it's a stroke of genius. It makes it so much more stressful, because most of the time the edges are the safe spaces, but the ice is there. The ice could break and you could die. I don't know, it just adds, like, I think the most of the fun of Snowball Survival is the threat of death. Like, the idea that you could die at any second. I don't know, it just keeps the adrenaline really high. It's just a simple level. Avoid the snowballs, don't die. Snowball Survival. It's fun, it's B tier. Basketfall. Now, Fall Ball is sitting up there at the top of my S tier, and Basketfall is not going to join it. It's going to be here next to War Guys actually, no, it's better than War Guys. No, it's not, it's worse than War Guys. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. There. I don't know. It's bad. I hate it. I think the core design of Basketball isn't too bad. Like, I like that it's got a skill cap. I like that, throwing the basketball is better than carrying it. I like that you can, like, do three-pointer throws from the distance. But a lot of the time, I don't have fun in Basketball, just because it feels like there's a lot wrong with it. It's got a lot of bugs it needs to fix. Like, it feels like a lot of the bugs as well are just desync and lag issues, which I don't think they're ever going to fix because they're issues that never really get fixed in games. It's the fact that you can get grabbed from like 5 yards behind and stuff like that. I feel like the core of the game is fine. I also like that you can be in defense and like try and stop people from scoring. I like that. It's just the game doesn't really work. Also, PSA, if you're on the yellow team, you score in the blue goal. If you're on the blue team, you score in the yellow goal. You score in the opposite team's net, not your own. Just a PSA. Hoverboard Heroes, Slime Climb 2.0. Hello. Oh, I need to move it up. There we go. Hoverboard Heroes is essentially Slime Climb 2.0, and I absolutely love it. It's just got that same feel to Slime Climb, like that unforgivability. You fall off, you're dead. There's no second chance. You fall off, you're dead. However, if you know what you're doing, then there's a high chance you're going to get through. Like, I just love there is once again a round in this game where about 40 people can enter and only 5 can survive sometimes. Like, it just feels good that there's that kind of game in this game again. Like, it used to be Slime Climb. It used to be that very few people got through Slime Climb. But more and more people are getting through Slime Climb, and it's kind of got a bit tame now. But then we've got Hoverboard Heroes, which, 40 enter, only 5 leave a lot of the time. Sometimes a lot more people can qualify, but it feels like we've got that, like, special death round in again, and I love it. Okay, the next one's Power Trip. So now we can make this another row that's just, I don't know. No. There we go, and we stick Power Trip in there. And just imagine that Tail Tag is there as well. I fecked up and deleted it, but Tail Tag is there as well. I have never felt more helpless and powerless and useless to the outcome as I do in Power Trip. It feels like no matter what I do, the outcome is already decided. There's nothing I can do about it. I can have a battery in my hand and I'll be running in between, like, so I'm doing 2 tiles with every step, and I can follow people around, like other team members, like other members of the other team, to like erase what they're doing. I can hassle the other team. Anything I do feels pointless. It feels like the outcome was decided at the dawn of time and nothing's going to change that. I have never felt like I had less autonomy in any game ever. It might even be worse than Tail Tag. It might be, imagine Tail Tag here and Power Trip here. I hate it. It's the worst. I hate Power Trip so much. Every time it comes up, I just despair. It's awful. Ah, beautiful. Roll On. Roll On's good. I'm gonna stick Roll On at the top of 8 here. I like Roll On. Roll On's good. Yay, Roll On. Taking the roll out, roll off formula and putting it into a gauntlet, into a race, is genius. Like, that was a stroke of genius, and I love it. I love, like, the franticness of it. I love the chaos. And I love that, again, if you know what you're doing, you're probably going to go through. That is the core, I found out throughout making this video, that is the core of what I want in a Fall Guys level. I want to feel like if I play well, if I know what I'm doing, I'm going to get through. And I'm going to get through well. That is the basics that I want. I want to feel in control, I want to feel like what I do matters, and I want to feel like if I know what I'm doing, I'm going to get through. And there's no random nonsense that's going to stop me. Short Circuit is another one. Short Circuit's really good. I don't know where to put Short Circuit. I don't know if it's worthy of S tier, but I definitely really like it. I think it is. I think I'm going to put it in S tier. I've put way too many things in S tier. This is a problem. I mean, it's not a problem. I like a lot of levels. I found out through making this video. That's good, right? But yeah, I just feel like once I learned how to do Short Circuit, I could make up some real distance in front of other players. And like that, again, I just love that. I love that I know what I'm doing, so I can open up quite a big lead. If I get behind, I can catch up. And that just feels really good. I also like that pretty much every time I play Short Circuit, I find out something new. Like, I found out that, oh, this flipper can actually get me onto that flipper, which gets me here, and just finding all these new strats and stuff in such a short level is just really good. And I love the ingenuity that, like, this is the first one that is laps. I kind of wish they'd stuck with what they were trying in the beta. Like, for a bit in the beta they trialed a 3-lap one, and I really like that. I really like that idea. I just read that that's what they'd done, and I was like, wait, they didn't go with that? That sounds awesome. I want a 3-lap short circuit. But yeah, I really like it. Skyline Stumble is yet another S tier. So, you've seen the Whirligig, you've seen Night Fever, you've seen Tundrun, now try Skyline Stumble. I feel like these are, like, in a series. Like, this is the story. These are, like, the basic gauntlets for each, that perfectly exemplify each season. Like, these should be the flagships for each season. Skyline Stumble is a lot like Short Circuit, where every time I play it, I find a new thing that I can do. Like, just recently in a stream I did over the weekend, I finally achieved the skip where you're standing on the edge of the flipper and you jump at just the right time and it flings you all the way up the wall. I love that. I love that I find out that if the slime slide, if you jump onto it rather than diving, you get more of a speed boost. Like, it seems like every time I play Skyline Stumble, there's a new thing I find out, and there's a new thing I want to try. I love it. I have so much fun in Skyline Stumble, and yet again, if I feel like I know what I'm doing, I'm going to get through, I'm going to do well, it's got a good skill cap, it's good. Like, these 4 are just... like, these should be the flagships. These are like what you put on the front cover of every season. I love them. I feel like after talking about a level I really like, I have to take a breath because I forgot to breathe because I'm too excited. Big Shots is a lot like a level I'm thinking of. A lot like another level I'm thinking of, but I can't quite remember which one. Rollout, that's the one. If you're paying attention and you play it safe, you're probably going to get through. There's not much to it. You stand on the middle of the thing, you avoid the things that are flying at you, and if you do it while, you know, being focused, you're going to get through. If not, you're probably going to die. And there's not much to it. It's just simple. And the last one left is Perfect Deathmatch, which I'm pretty sure is the perfect match with the spinner in the middle. I'm guessing that's what it is. I'm trying to look at it from the picture. I don't think there's a round called Perfect Deathmatch. 1 minute? No, I'm pretty sure it's just Perfect Match with the spinner. So basically, it's just Perfect Match with the spinner, which actually puts it into C tier. The spinner makes it so much better. Because bottom line, I still play it exactly the same way. I still rely on the crowd to, like, find the correct one for me, or I rely on my friends to find the correct one for me. But then there's something for me to do while I'm waiting for people to do the boring part of the game for me. I can jump over the thing, or I can go in the corners and hassle people, or just taunt. It just adds that little bit more fun to it, and I appreciate that because Perfect Match is boring as hell, and Perfect Deathmatch feels more like it belongs in Fall Guys, so that's good. And yeah, that is my completed Fall Guys rounds tier list. Turns out I like a lot of rounds. I like a lot of them. I didn't plan where I was going to put things before I made the video. I didn't realise I'd have quite a stack to S tier, but I'm happy that I do. It means that, you know, there's a lot of rounds that I like, which makes me happy. So yeah, I really appreciate you for watching this hella rambly video. Like, this is what happens when I don't script or plan a video and just do it on the fly. I ramble a lot, but still, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Stay strange.